Hi students, today's lesson will be lesson 4.3 on displays of proportional relationships. And you'll be able to recognize and represent proportional relationships by the end of this 2-day lesson. So let's go over some vocabulary. Some of it we have done. So proportional relationships are ratios that are set equal to each other. So we've been solving proportions for the last several lessons. And then constant of proportionality is a ratio between two directly proportional quantities. So this is going to be directly proportional. So proportional relationships, tables. So a table of x and y ordered pair values show a proportional relationship if the ratio of y over x, where x can't be 0, remember your denominator can never be 0, is the same for every ordered pair. So when you divide y by x, you're going to get the same fraction, the same simplified version of that number every single time for it to be proportional. Graphs of proportional relationships. A graph shows a proportional relationship if it is a straight line that goes through the origin. So what that means is you're going to have a linear graph, a graph that looks like a line, and it's every single time it's going to be straight and it's going to go through your origin. And equations. So an equation shows a proportional relationship if it is in the form of y equals mx, where m is a unit rate. So the unit rate is y over x, and every single time it's going to just be y equals mx. So let's start going over some examples. So the graph below represents a proportional relationship. Write an equation for the graph in the form of y equals mx. So find the ratio of y equals x. So whenever you're trying to find an equation of any line, you want to at least have 2 points. And the best way to find these points are when they're actually intersecting in points. So like this is intersecting between this x value and this y value. And this point over here that they chose intersects between this x value and this y value. So first, what you need to do is actually find out the points. So if you're not sure, it's not a bad idea to go from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's do the same thing for the y's. Remember, the x is always going to be the horizontal axis and the y is going to be the vertical axis. Excuse me. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now let's find the xy point. So the xy point here is going to be, the x always goes first, is going to be 1, and the y is 3. And the point over here is going to be 3, 9. All right. So find the ratio of y over x. You want to just do it with at least a minimum of 2 points. Let's do that first point over here. That first point is going to be 3 over 1, and that simplifies to 3. That 9 point over here is going to be y over x. Remember, this is x, this is y. So it's going to be 9 over 3, and that is 3. That simplifies to 3, or 3 over 1. Whichever way you want to write it, it's fine. But a lot of the times you will see it without, unless it actually has a fraction like 3 over 2. You generally don't need to put that 1 on the bottom, but it's not wrong if you actually have that 1. So now that you found the value of m, that's what this is. These are the values of m, okay? And it's the same number. So you're going to sit there and all you're going to substitute back into your equation is this value for m. So it's going to be y equals 3x. So extra example 1, the graph represents a proportional relation. Write an equation for the graph in the form of y equals mx. So why don't you pause the video to see if you get the same answer as me. All right, welcome back. So let's see what we get from here. So I'm going to pick any 2 points, not the origin though, because the origin is always going to be 0 over 0. You want to pick that one. So this point over here, it's 4, 1. Whoops, got the 1. And this point over here is 8, 2. You could have picked any of these 4 points that they have here. I'm just picking the one that has the smallest number because I always think that's easier. So now you're going to just check to see m equals y over x. Okay, So let's check to see if both of them have the same value. So 4 over 1. Oops, the opposite way. This is x, this is y. So it's going to be 1 over 4. Hold on. So it's going to be 1 over 4. And now let's check to see this one. So that second one is 2 over 8. Let me just see. 2 over 8, and let's simplify this. 2 goes into the numerator and the denominator, and that gives you 1 over 4. So they are the same, just to make sure that you're checking your math. And now you're just going to plug it back into y equals mx, and m is this value that we found here. So it's going to be y equals 1/4 x, and that's your answer. Okay. Now let's do another type of a problem. Determine whether or not each table determine whether the table represents a proportional relationship. If so, determine the unit rate. So look at the y over x for each ordered pair. This tells you have to do it for each of them. So you have to do y over x for every single one of them, not just one, every single one of them. So you don't really need to do the 0 over 0 just because it's going to give you a different value. So we're going to exclude that one. Now let's do the rest of them. So you're doing y over x. That's what this column over here is going to be. So this is 4 over 1. You don't need to simplify it, so keep going. 8 over 2. And when you divide 2 to the numerator and denominator, you get 4 over 1. 12 over 3. When you divide 3 to the numerator and the denominator, you get 4 over 1. And the last one, 16 over 4. Divide 4 into the numerator and the denominator. And if you don't simplify completely, you're going to get a wrong answer. Like 2 would have went into this, but it's not simplified completely. What I mean by that is 16 over 4 does simplify to 8 over 2. But you have to simplify your fractions completely in simplest form for this to work. And now because the unit rates are all the same, it is proportional. Yes, the table is proportional since the unit rate for each ratio is 4 over 1. Okay. All right. Determine whether or not, so again, same question as last one. So I want you to pause the video and see if you get the same questions. The only difference this time is you're actually writing the equation. So you're going to actually write the equation y equals mx. All right. Welcome back. So let's go over and check these. So again, you don't want to do the one with 0. That won't work. So 2 over 1, 3 over 2. And already these are different, but let's just check the 3. 4 over 3. These are all different. So not proportional. You can't even write a unit rate because they're just not proportional. That's it. Again, you don't want the x being 0, so you just exclude that first one. So 10 over 1, 20 divided by 2. When you simplify, when you divide 2 into both of them, you get 10 over 1. And let me do that work for you. Remember, simplify, simplify, simplify. I'm a teacher that requires that, so 10 over 1. 30 over 3 equals, when you divide 3, you get 10 over 1. And the last one, 40 over 4, divide by 4, equals 10 over 1. And these all have the same unit rate. So unit rate is 10 over 1, and your equation is y equals 10x. And you can write that one totally fine, but I have the habit of writing it like this. So these are your answers for this. Now, your next part of this, continue those practice problems. All right, bye guys.